everyone to the second episode of the LOL Living Out Loud podcast today. As you know, we're the Christian service leaders. My name's Samuel, this is Annie. And today we're going to be talking about the faith in transition, Pope Francis to Pope Leo.
So the purpose of our podcast today is to acknowledge the significant works of Pope Francis, and while also talking about Pope Leo's transition, and then linking it to our life at Loyola and how the works of these popes have influenced how we do things at Loyola. So Sam, how have you been?
I've been all right. It's been such a long term.
I know, 11 weeks.
I think this has been one of the longest terms at Loyola. I'm just so tired.
One of the longest turns ever of our schooling life.
Exactly. How have you been though?
Yeah, okay. Terms at Loyola are jam-packed and filled with things. You know, it was a bit sad with Pope Francis's passing away at the start of the term. But yeah, I think particularly for our Loyola community, this was quite a sad loss, as he was at the first Jesuit Pope, which was quite significant, wasn't it?
Exactly. Like, I remember the night he passed away. I was so surprised. Like, look, he's been Pope for a while now, but I didn't think he would pass as quickly as he did, but he was really there for others. He was a Pope that really contemporized the Catholic Church, or at least he really tried to, through climate change. He was always there, and I think we need to remember that through Loyola's beliefs, you know, how we have Vinnies, we have Exodus, St. Pius, all these Christian service things for others. We have to remember that the Pope was very much like what we do at Loyola.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that as an Ignatian leader, he was absolutely everything we embody at Loyola, from sustainability, his work with environmental stewardship, his care for the poor and the marginalised, all these factors, what we aim to do here at Loyola through our various Christian service activities. He also lived a simple life. I was so shocked because they have this big apostolic palace that they generally the popes choose to live in, but he didn't. He chose to live somewhere else in Vatican City because he believed in living a simple life, which I thought was quite humble of him, and just shows just how great of a leader he was in general. But
no, he was, I think he was really there for everyone else rather than himself, and I think that really shows he was a good person. Looking
to the future though, the conclave where they decide the new pope, that was quite exciting. It was all over my TikTok For You page, whether it was going to be the white smoke, the black smoke. I know there was a Filipino prospect cardinal at one point that everyone thought it was going to be a couple front runners.
Exactly. Yeah, there were a fair few in line all over my Instagram as well. To be honest, I'm surprised they picked so fast. I had a few Filipino friends, they really were hoping it was going to be that Pope, but I think Pope Leo was a good choice, and you know, from what I've heard, the speeches I've heard that were shown on Instagram as well, I think he might be a good Pope because he really liked Pope Francis, and hopefully, you know, he'll go in the footsteps of him as well.
Absolutely, and American, so very contemporary. And as an English-speaking person, I think a lot of English-speaking countries like Australia can really relate to him.
That's right.
And really relate to the things he's interested in. I know he's interested in baseball, Chicago Bulls,
that's right.
sort of things that like things that people can relate to.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. That's right.
I think he's going to continue that kind of contemporary view of the church as well, and to kind of follow on of the footsteps of Pope Francis, which will be quite special, especially as Pope Francis was that Jesuit leader. So to continue into the reforms that Pope Francis made to the church.
Yeah, that's right. And also introduce new priorities or styles. I think continuing on where Pope Francis left off.
Absolutely.
I think there's a long way to go for the Catholic Church, but I think eventually it will get there to where, you know, people feel more comfortable, more people may attend Mass, and a few more issues around the world will be solved.
And I think with the current geopolitical climate of our world, with the wars going on, with all these issues around the world, having a strong Pope like Pope Leo is going to be really great. And
it's important for someone to look up to, I think.
In these times of hardship, to turn to religion and to turn to Catholicism and to Pope Leo is going to be really beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to hand over to our Vice Christian Service Captains, Kevin and Angelique. We have a few hard-hitting questions for them. So, the first question, Kevin and Angelique, what do you admire about Pope Francis?
Hi Sam, hi Annie, thanks for having us. This is going to be awesome. Well, I haven't really had the chance to learn about the Pope very much, but I think one thing that everyone can probably agree on, as you've probably seen in the news before, is let's say all these news articles about Pope Francis undergoing some new reformation or this new policy change within the church. I think it's really nice of him to really persevere so much, and in spite of all odds, I know there was lots of pressure against some controversial policy changes, but in the end he was doing this to try to help society as a whole, and even in all these odds he still persevered. So I think this is something we can all take away from Pope Francis's experience.
Great answer. What challenges should the church address next?
One challenge that I think the church should really address, especially something that's relevant in today's society, is definitely the acceptance of immigration, especially in other countries like the United States and the United Kingdom, where a lot of people, they move to a new country but they aren't accepted or they're discriminated against. And I think that the church should accept this because, one of the main values of the church is to be accepting of others and to show compassion, just like Jesus taught and just like God teaches us. We can see a lot on the news and media articles that so many people are suffering from lack of acceptance.
Thanks so much for that answer. What does faith-driven service mean today?
So to me, faith-driven service means that you're leading and you're helping others with your faith and with your generosity as well. We do have a lot of volunteering and extracurricular opportunities here at Loyola, such as St. Pius and Exodus, where we spend a lot of time with primary school kids, especially those in underprivileged areas. What activities are you a part of, Kevin?
Well, I'm a part of St. Pius and Exodus, and I love what we do. I think faith-driven service primarily revolves around faith, right? So what does it really mean today? Well, if you, in your upbringing, let's say in your religion classes or what your parents teach you, or so on and so forth, in the Bible, I think God's big teaching is to love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? It's to be nice to everyone. It's to provide for everyone, which what our initiatives at Loyola College do. And these are really just based around faith. I think faith-driven service in the current world means just following God's teachings the best that you can and trying to help as many people as you can.
Okay, cool. So if you could ask Pope Leo a question, what would it be?
If I could ask Pope Leo a question, it would probably be, what are the pressures of being such an important and significant figure in the church today?
If I could ask Pope Leo a question, it would probably be, is it cool to be Pope?
Okay, last question for you guys. How can this church stay relevant for youth?
It's really important for the church to align towards the youth, because if the youth don't have any engagement with the church, then how will they follow Christianity in the future, right? And I think the church can achieve this through a lot of different initiatives. They could, for example, I know some churches run camps in which they have teenage youth group camps in order to help build up connection to Christ, connection to each other, and connection to the community.
Yeah, like Kevin said, I know that I'm part of my church's own youth group, and it's definitely helped me to become closer to my faith and closer to Jesus and closer to the teachings. We are the next generation of the church, and we're going to be the next leaders of the church and of the entire world. So it's very important.
Yeah, I think it's more relevant as ever right now because obviously we just had Pope Leo step up and become Pope. Obviously, well, as we've said before, he is the first American Pope, and he would be more relatable to the younger audiences because of the fact that, number one, he speaks English. He also has a lot of these hobbies that the younger audience is more in tune with, such as tennis and baseball and so on.
Okay, thank you so much, Kevin and Angelique. We love having you on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having us, and we'll see you again next time. Good luck in year 12.
Thanks, Kevin and Angelique.
See ya.
Okay, so now turning to our Loyola community, I think that the popes, both Pope Leo and Pope Francis's vision, really influence what we do here at Loyola.
Yeah.
Like this term at Vinnie's, our Vinnie's group has been running a winter warmers drive, and we've been so overwhelmed by the donations of warm winter essentials for families who may not otherwise be able to afford these items of clothing in this cold climate. It's been freezing the weather at the moment.
There's been boxes and boxes when we've been in the Vinnie's Club, and we've been sorting it all out. But even though there's been so much, I've just personally been so proud of the community here.
Absolutely.
And I think it's really good, knowing that there's people that care that about the other people that struggle in the community, because they were all great quality clothes as well. Yeah.
And that care for the marginalised and the care for those in need that shines through in Pope Francis and Pope Leo's leadership.
Yeah.
It's inspiring.
Yeah,
and
very.
I know we're going to the Big Group Hub, which is the organisation who organised the Winter Warmers Drive, and we're actually, as a Vinnie's group, sorting through the clothes and sorting through to the generous donations of the Loyola community. So we just Sam and I want to say thank you so much for everyone that has donated.
We really appreciate it.
We appreciate every donation. So thank you so much. And over the holidays, we also have a Kairos retreat, which is an Ignatian Jesuit retreat.
It's all about spirit. I felt when we went last year was a lot about spirituality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we can't really touch on it much because whatever happens on Kairos stays on Kairos, but we definitely recommend on the future, if you get invited, you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that idea of being an Ignatian and Jesuit person, that shines through from Pope Francis's leadership as a Jesuit. And so to be on a retreat where we get to live through those values and learn more about those values is really special. So it's very exciting for the students going on that. And it's our first ever one we're running at a school, so quite monumental, quite exciting.
And hopefully this can continue into the future as well, and grow bigger and bigger throughout the year levels.
And, it's been a great participation and great turnout from our Exodus and St. Pius groups, which work with some of the students from West Heidelberg who may be in difficult educational or financial situations. And so helping them has been really great.
It has been.
And, again, that care for the marginalised that comes through the Pope's leadership, has been so great.
It's been great,
So, well, I think that just about wraps it up.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for listening.
We hope you share this, you like, subscribe, and you come back in the future to watch.
And we hope you're inspired by Pope Francis's journey and the Pope Leo's vision for the future.
Yeah, and we hope you learned something today as well from our podcast based on this. And again, thank you so much everyone who's donated to this Vinnie's Drive. It's really good.
Yeah, stay tuned for our next podcast.
See ya.
Bye.